الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد الحمد لله. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's fadl is with us, and through his fadl we come to offer our ibadah in front of him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept and increase our ibadah, inshaAllah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down the Qur'an as a dhikr, as a reminder, هذا ذكر. That the Qur'an is constantly reminding human beings. You remind people who forget. And human beings constantly forget who they are and what their purpose is. So the Qur'an is a constant reminder, reminding people of what their main purpose in life is and where they are going with everything in their lives and around their lives. فَأَيْنَ تَذْهَبُونَ? Allah asks the question to everybody, where are you going? أَيْنَ تَذْهَبُونَ? Where are you going? Which direction are you going? Where are you heading to? What is your ultimate goal, purpose, destination? Or are you just roaming around like chicken without head, in circles, without any purpose, without any destination and goal in life? And so then human beings, they are reminded, because they are usually in a state of oblivion known as ghafla, that we don't seem to take heed. That's why in Islam you're reminded 5 times a day that there's a higher purpose to life. So take time out, detach yourself from whatever it is you're doing, and focus on your ultimate destination, because unfortunately your ultimate destination is death. Everyone's going to die. The most certain thing in life is death. Everybody is going to die. That is haqq, that is yaqini. There can be no doubt in that. In other things you may speculate, you may predict, you may calculate, you may estimate, but about death, death is inevitable. So the Qur'an leads human beings towards their ultimate reality, which is death. So you take time out from whatever it is you're doing 5 times a day to remind yourself that that's where I'm heading. I'm heading towards meeting Allah in the grave, after the grave, on the Day of Judgment. So this is a constant theme in the Quran and Sunnah. The Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when he used to give the Jumu'ah Khutbah, would always remind the ṣaḥāba about death. More than often, the theme of his khutbahs was death. So why is this? That you are the Rasul of Rahmah. You are the Nabi of Rahmah. You are the most influential person on the planet to motivate people, to give positive insights into life and reality. On this side, you are talking about death. Yeah. So why is this? Because that's where we're going, that's where we're heading. If you're going on a journey, on a trip, then on your journey, on your trip, you take a break, you have a pit stop, and you move to the side at the station, and you spend a few hours at the station, and you do the shopping there, you have food there, and if there's children with you, then you allow them to play for a few minutes. But then you bring them back into the car, because you're reminded that you have to finish your journey. Likewise, life is a continuous journey. And if we make stops by being distracted from the journey and engaging in worldly affairs, which is fine, that's part of life, then we must come back on track. We must come into the car and start driving towards our ultimate destination. So that is why the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam motivated the Sahaba to constantly think about death. That your purpose in life is to finally meet Allah. And when you meet Allah, what will you say to Him? What will He say to you? Do you have an answer? So in this life, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years, however long Allah destines us to stay on this earth, we are constantly engaged and preoccupied with matters other than the ultimate destination. So the Qur'an comes as a reminder. The Rasul comes as a reminder. So we must also be reminded continuously, constantly. Salat comes as a reminder. The adhan is called and we say, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala falah. Come to salat and come to success. So the mindset of a Muslim is that at the macro level, Muslims must appreciate that they're not going to stay here in this world permanently. So they must attach themselves to a permanent residence, a permanent abode. What is your final address? The final address is in Jannah. So if you engage with the world knowing that one day you're going to leave the world, then you have a better understanding of how to navigate your life, how to steer your boat, and how to drive on the road so that you're not distracted to the extent that you forget you have to finish the journey. So this is why we find that the theme of the Qur'an frequently is all about the akhirah. The theme of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is always about the akhirah. And then what does this do? Does this make you passive? Or does this make you fatalist? That you're thinking about the akhirah, you think about death, so now let's be fatalistic. No, it makes you more aggressive. It makes you pick up the slack and be aggressive in understanding that I only have this time in this world to do whatever I need to do, to accomplish what I need to accomplish. So taking care of your family, feeding yourself, taking care of your house, taking care of your finances, taking care of your health and your everything else, that's all part of the journey. But we cannot give up the ultimate purpose, which is to please Allah and to meet Him in a state that we are pleased with Him and He's pleased with us. So at this macro level, the impetus for the Rasul and the Sahaba is that they're very aggressive in life. See what they accomplished in a short span of time. What did the Sahaba accomplish in 30 years? 30 years is not a long time. Most of us are here, hopefully 30 plus. What have we seen accomplished in the dunya in our 30 years? And what the Sahaba did in 30 years, knowing that they're going to die one day, was incredible. It was a miracle. That all the way from the sands of Medina to the sands of Morocco and the shores of India and eventually China, they went and they spread the word of Allah. And they managed to establish the rule of Allah wherever they went. In 30 years, Islam expanded from the Atlantic all the way to, Sindh. And then later on into China. And then all the way into the southern Russian borders. How does one do this if one is passive and fatalistic and always thinking about death? So it motivates you to do what you can do now in this world. I don't have time. I have limited time. And when you know you have limited time, you become more aggressive. You become more engaged with what it is you need to do. So this is how the idea of death is a motivating factor. Yeah. So don't be surprised that most of the khutbahs of the Rasul was about death. Then you say, well, this is not something that a motivator does. It's exactly what a motivator should do. That propel them into thinking they don't have much time to accomplish what they need to accomplish. So that in that span of time in human history, that was never paralleled. What the ṣaḥāba did in the 30s. And then later on, in the next 100 years, they went all the way to China and all the way beyond the southern borders of Russia and all the way into Turkey and everywhere else. So how does one do this? So you are, propelled by your mission, by your vision, by your understanding that I have to do what I need to do now. So there's no procrastination, because you may not get tomorrow. The Prophet ﷺ said, do your salat as if this is your last salat. You may not get another salat. That's today. What is this? He's motivating people. Do what you can do. As the Quran says, فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. Race with each other in doing good deeds. So if there's a deed you can do today, don't delay it until tomorrow. Because procrastination is one of the tools and weapons of the devil. He doesn't want you to do anything. He wants you to remain inert, lethargic, and lazy, and not worry about tomorrow. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always going to be constantly reminding Allah, all the human species, of this message, the message of dhikr, the message of a reminder. So here we see that in this country, we sometimes have a lot of activities that are frivolous, I would say, time wasting. A lot of activities that are very enjoyable. Maybe they're halal, Allah knows. And we waste so much time. In those times that we waste, there could have been some other activities we could have engaged in. One of the most beautiful points about Jannah, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, is that the people in Jannah will not regret anything, because they'll have everything. SubhanAllah. All the luxuries, all the ni'mah that one can imagine and beyond imagination. But there will come phases upon human beings in Jannah where they will regret not making the dhikr of Allah. And they'll go back in their memory, because the memory comes with you. You remember everything on the Day of Judgment. Oh, it'll all come back. Even in Jannah, you remember everything. It'll all come back. They will remember the times that they wasted in frivolous activities and in ghafla and in oblivion. And they will regret, and they'll talk to each other. There will be conversations, by the way, in Jannah. Jannah is a community. Ashabul Jannah, the people of Jannah, the companions of Jannah, they will get together and they will talk as we do in this world. And when they talk, this is one of the things they will talk about. I remember the time when I spent hours wasting myself in frivolous activities and partying and doing this, where I could have done something else in that time so that my ranks here in Jannah would have been elevated. I left money on the table in the dunya. So now, this is a serious call. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ did not want his ummah to compromise. See how he thinks? So I don't want my ummah compromised in Jannah. So he'll be there making shafa, intercession in front of Allah. Allah, forgive this person. Allah, enter this person in Jannah. Allah, raise the ranks of this person in Jannah. That will be his work on the Day of Judgment. He will be occupied. So one of the things he didn't want the Muslims to do is regret the lost time. in the dunya. So we must take heed that we are here. And it's only a few minutes of the day that we engage in salat, we engage in dua, we engage in dhikr. So when you come here for salat and dua and dhikr, engage with Allah. Remember Allah. Whatever dunya you have, leave outside with your shoes where it belongs. The shoes are symbolic of the dunya. When you come into the masjid, you leave the dunya outside where it belongs. It doesn't belong in the masjid. So when we're here, think, concentrate that Allah is here. Allah is present. I'm in the presence, the hudur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm here to worship Him. I'm here to be grateful to Him. I'm here to thank Him. I'm here to dedicate these few moments that I have. It's only once a week. So make the most of it. Likewise, whenever you do salat, make the most of it because it's time out. Allah is reminding you towards your ultimate destination, which is going to be through death. And death, as I said, is inevitable. Everyone is going to face death. Allah make it easy for us. Allah make death easy for us. Allah make death mubarak for us. The Prophet ﷺ made a dua, Allahumma barik li fil maut wa fima ba'd al maut. Allah gave me barakah in death and after death. So think about it. See what he's saying. He's saying that this thing that you think is negative, death, make it positive. That is how you motivate people. But anyway, what I'm saying is that we must appreciate that the Quran is a reminder, and the messengers and the Anbiya, they're also reminders. They come to remind us of our ultimate destination. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to think about our destination. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to prepare for the day of judgment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to enter Jannah, inshallah, bi ghayr hisab. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen.